Hello, Scott here, and this is Mastering of the Mind, Body, and Soul. For your return viewers, thank you for coming back and watching another video. And for all you new viewers, welcome. Hopefully you're going to see or hear something that resonates with you. And if it does, I would like you to please like, comment, and share. Uh, if you know somebody that might benefit from this, please share that with them. Over the last several weeks, we've been talking about a concept called R.E.T, Rational Emotive Therapy. And I've been using some examples which occur in everyday life. But before I get into today's example, I want to go over the 5 rational questions and importance questions with you. I wish I had a little bit bigger board so that I could put it up there, but I'm limited in space. So number 1 is my thinking or behavior based on facts? 2, does my thinking or behavior help me to protect my life, health, or freedom? 3, does my thinking or behavior help me achieve my goals now and in the future? 4, does my thinking or behavior help me avoid unwanted conflicts with others? And 5, does my thinking or behavior help me feel the way I want to now and in the future? And then we have the importance question. The importance question is, will this situation be important to me tomorrow, next week, next year, 5 years from now? Now, you may be watching this video and thinking to yourself, well, Scott, how am I going to remember the 5 rational questions and importance question when I'm extremely upset, angry, or frustrated? When I was learning this concept, there was 2 that stood out more than the rest. The first one that stood out for me was, does my thinking or behavior help me to avoid unwanted conflicts with others? My goal is to avoid unnecessary conflict and drama. And the second one that comes into mind is, does my thinking or behavior help me to protect my life, health, or freedom? You know, years ago, I used to be one of these people that was a cross between a teddy bear and a grizzly bear under the right circumstances. But as I've gotten older, I've found that being a grizzly bear isn't always the best thing. I would much prefer to be the teddy bear, the one that's getting squeezed, hugged, and kissed all the time, instead of the grizzly bear, which is getting uh, pounded and pummeled upon. And my thing is, I want to avoid a physical altercation where I could possibly be hurt or I could hurt someone else. And then behind that, I could be arrested, charged, and sued, and maybe even go to the county jail, or if it's serious enough, prison. And I don't want to be a bad man's boyfriend to anyone. So I'm going to do whatever is necessary to keep myself out of those situations. But I want to start with our new example for this week. And the event is, my supervisor criticized me in front of all my coworkers. That happens. And some of the environments that I've worked in, I've seen that happen or have had it happen to me. So that's the event. It's specific. It's what took place. And then we have the self-talk. Self-talk is, I hate this job. He doesn't like me. I can't stand him. I should file a grievance. I should have went upside his head. No one disrespects me. He doesn't know who he's messing with. And then that self-talk creates these feelings of anger, hurt, humiliation, and embarrassment. So to deal with that self-talk and all these feelings and emotions, we're going to use the 5 rational questions and the importance questions that I just went over with you. And then when we do that, then we can get into our new feelings and come out of the child part of our personality, which is basing everything on a feeling or emotions. Feelings make wonderful servants, but poor masters. And get back up into our adult, where we're basing everything on a rational thinking or logic. But the 3 goals of R.E.T, each week I've went over that. That's to be less upset, less often, for less long. As I say, it's not going to be a magic bullet. It's not going to cure all those times when you get upset, but overall, if you use it and practice it enough, you'll get better with it each and every time. And those things that used to bother you will not be as significant as they once were. But let's go with the first one of the rational questions. Is my thinking or behavior based on fact? Most of our self-talk is based on opinions. Yeah, I hate this job. Is that based on a fact or opinion? Well, it's an opinion. If you really hated the job that much, you tell the boss take this job and shove it. But if you still need that job to bring money home, you know, you may not like the job, but you're staying there. So you don't actually hate this job enough to quit. He doesn't like me. Fact or opinion. Once again, that's an opinion. If he says, yeah, I really don't like you, then okay, that's a fact. But if he's not verbalizing it, we're making assumptions. We are assuming that he doesn't like us. And I can't stand him. That's the awfuls, the shoulds, and the can't stand. Well, you are standing him. Why? Because you're still working for him. And that's based upon opinion. I should file a grievance. Fact or opinion? Well, that's based on an opinion. Until you actually file that grievance, that's not a fact. And then I should have went upside his head. Well, based on fact or opinion. Once again, that's an opinion. And had you went upside that guy's head, several things are going to happen. One, you're going to get arrested. Two, you're going to get fired. Three, you're not going to have a paycheck coming in. And there could be further reaching consequences later on. And when you're talking about going upside somebody's head, that anger has gotten to a point where it's very problematic. And no one disrespects me, fact or opinion. Well, an opinion, because he just did disrespect you, and you took it. And finally, he doesn't know who he's messing with, fact or opinion. Once again, that's an opinion. He knows who he's exactly messing with. He's messing with a subordinate. And evidently, he really doesn't care what he said or how it was taken. So once again, that is based on opinion. If he was so afraid of you, then he would check his mouth. So with that self-talk, we know that first one is my thinking and behavior based on fact. Oh, no, it's based on an opinion. Okay? And because we've got anger, hurt, humiliation, and embarrassment as a result of that. Does my thinking or behavior help me to protect my life, health, or freedom? When you're talking about going up beside somebody's head for disrespecting you, that's not going to protect your life, your health, or your freedom. Because you may not intentionally want to hurt that individual, but if they fall and hit their head on the side of a desk and they have a brain injury and they end up dying, you're going to be charged with manslaughter. So that is a no as well. 3, does my thinking or behavior help me achieve my goals now and in the future? If you want to keep your job and you want to continue earning a paycheck, this self-talk that you're running through your mind is not going to do that because you're feeling angry, you're feeling hurt, humiliated, and you're embarrassed. So you just basically got to keep your mouth shut and go with the flow. So once again, that's a no. And then 4, does my thinking or behavior help me to avoid unwanted conflicts with others? That self-talk is going to create conflicts and not avoid them. So therefore, that is a no as well. And then we get to, does my thinking or behavior help me feel the way I want to now in the future? Well, nobody wants to feel angry, hurt, humiliated, or embarrassed. And with that self-talk, if it's causing that, it's not making you feel the way you want to now and in the future. So that is a no as well. So when we look at the 5 rational questions, and we'll get to the importance questions, we realize that self-talk is all negative. And we're on dangerous ground when we are thinking like this. So what we've got to do is now we've got to get up into the new feelings. Come out of our child, get back up into our adult. So in the new feelings, I know my self-worth. Well, basically, you know who you are and what your worth is. This job does not define me, simply meaning that you work here 8 to 5 or whatever shift that you work, so it's just a part of your life. And then I do still need this job for now. Well, if you need money coming in each and every week, you just can't overreact, tell this guy take this job and shove it and just quit. What are you going to do next month when your bills come due? And then he is going through something. Possibly. He may be going through something that you're just not aware of, and that he's bringing it into work. Is that right? No, it's not right, but it happens because we're all human. So, with these new feelings, hopefully that brings us back up into our adult, that we keep the self-talk to a minimum, and then we got to come to the importance question. Will this situation be important to me tomorrow, next week, next year, 5 years from now? Well, come tomorrow, if he comes back and apologizes, or it's all done and over with, that particular situation is not going to be important. The only way that it can be important and be a yes is if he does it each and every day. But if it's just a one-time incident, then no, that situation will not be important to you next week, next year, 5 years from now. You may not even be working there then. But today, I've got another acronym for you. And last couple of weeks, I talked about dream. I wanted you to dream big. And then the following week, I wanted you to be brave. Well, today, I want you to be great. G-R-E-A-T. And what does that stand for? Get really excited about today. What does that mean? Today is the first day of the rest of your life. You can get up each and every day and make the best of that day, depending upon your attitude that you have. Just remember, setbacks make for great comebacks. Okay? So you may be down now, but that don't mean that you're going to be down and out forever. So with that, I would like to say, do an act of kindness today. And also, you don't know what that person's going through. And just a small gesture may mean all the things in the world to that individual. Remember that teamwork makes the dream work. Remember, believe it to achieve it. And that I believe in you. I want you to believe in yourself. And once you start believing in yourself, the sky's the limit, and there's nothing that you cannot achieve. So with that, I would like to say to you, may God bless you, and much love and light.